And it's really weird to not hold the steering wheel. You got to get over that and just let the car do its thing, and back and forth you go. Very early when I met Ken, he was getting ready to fix the first car that he wrecked, and I was just fixing one of the T-bone cars that I had. So I had purchased some fiberglass to repair the broken tub I got, and he needed a piece that I didn't need. So as a partial trade, I ended up going down to California to an event he was running, We're Going Back, which was a big Back to the Future sort of reunion, if you will, the filming locations and whatnot. And one thing that I was really interested in, I didn't know too much about it at the time, was putting our friend's DeLorean on the train tracks. And they did rides back and forth all day. So a good chunk of Back to the Future 3 was filmed on train tracks there. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that any filming with Michael J. Fox in the car, or most of it anyways, I should say, I can't really claim all of it, was actually filmed in reverse because they were afraid of the car falling off the tracks, and at that point they're not stopping the train. So the car was actually being towed backwards by the train. That way if something went wrong, no one was in any harm. So the original wheels from Back to the Future, they took old like pump car wheels and cut the center out of them, reversed them, welded them back together, and then of course made it the bolt pattern for the DeLorean. The problem with this is though the rear wheels will now hit the calipers. So you've got to pull the calipers off. So for this event, we took Oliver and Terry were the people who own this car. We had to take their calipers off, jam some pieces of wood in there so that he can actually stop and whatnot, and then tape the calipers out of the way far enough that they don't get hung up on these train wheels. And it went great. The event was lovely, and that all worked well. And then Terry and Oliver were running their own event out in the area where they filmed Back to the Future 3. And they wanted a set of train wheels for themselves, and I'm sure to do other events at the time. And the bigger 19-inch wheels, which were the originals, are quite hard to come by. They had found some smaller ones, but this time what we decided to do was the normal, split them in half, flip it around, and then for his back, I put it was either a 1 or a 2 inch spacer in there, and then we widened the train wheel that 1 or 2 inch so it still kept the track width, but he didn't have to pull his calipers all the time, which in the last event we went to, he forgot his wheel spacers, so that turned into a total debacle later on, but that's a different story. After I built these, we were going to the DeLorean convention in Chicago, and we found I'm not even 100% sure what it was. It was some type of railroad museum. And Oliver somehow talked them into letting us use this stretch of track to test these wheels out. So I brought the wheels down and we got them bolted up on his car and rolled back and forth a couple times, and everything seemed to look good. And the guy at the railroad museum said, yeah, just go down the track till you see the highway and then just don't go any farther than that. Okay, let's try it out. So here goes me and Oliver in this DeLorean, and we were going for, it seemed to be 10, 15 minutes, just out in the wilderness. It was beautiful. There was a creek off to the one side and long backyards over to the other side with houses and stuff like that. And here we are rolling through. And at one point there was a guy out in his backyard watering his flowers or whatever he was doing. And they're just, hey, and along we went, and I was taking a video of it the whole time. And at some point, we never even made it to the highway. We just got to a point where we're like, this is about as far as I think we're comfortable on a DeLorean on the train tracks that we're going to go. So back up we went. So yeah, that was perfect test, I guess. And back to the DeLorean convention we went. The one thing that I don't like about what I did with my wheels is when I welded the barrels to widen them, I wish we had got it smoother. So it is a bit rough, but even the regular wheels are a bit rough. It's a little on the noisy side, but it is really a cool feeling. And I suspect at this point, Oliver's put more miles on a DeLorean on train tracks than anyone else has. I can't believe sometimes we're going to some of these events and he's going back and forth in the heat all day, and it's quite an adventure. I've never panic stopped. I don't know if I'd suggest that. It might slide a bit, but it runs along fine. It's really weird to not hold the steering wheel. You got to get over that and just let the car do its thing, and back and forth you go. Especially Oliver and Terry and Ken ran great events for that. And the one they just did this year that we were down at, they had a great thing where we were out in the area where Back to the Future 3 was filmed. The set's since burnt down in I believe it was a wildfire, but all the original track was right there for most of the filming scene. Some of it was done in other locations or CGI, but we got to walk along the track, like where they first put the car on the track. We were down in that area. And then where we put Oliver's car on this year was at the Railroad Museum that holds the original train from number 3. Unfortunately, when we were down there this year with it, it was getting restored at the time. I don't know too much about boiler trains, but there's a certain amount of hours where it has to have a full inspection and they go through everything. So unfortunately, it was apart at the time, so we didn't get to push the car with it, but they run a really great event. I'm not really sure why number 3 is my favorite. I think I like the Old West and the train stuff, and a lot of people seem to say it's sad and whatnot at the end of the movie when the car gets destroyed, but I personally think it's just such a fitting end. There doesn't seem to be a loose end on it. It's just you see it and that's it. Oliver and Terry's car is a full-time machine that they do events with and stuff. And at Ken's event, we actually had, or they had, I should say, the train that hit the car in number 3. So Oliver was doing rides right up to the front of that train. Their car has, I don't know if they've quite made it yet, but they've almost got 1 million miles on that car. They've done all 50 states, I believe, and it's been overseas a couple times. I couldn't even begin to tell you all the places they've taken that car. And I do believe that they're pushing close to over $1 million raised for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So generally what we've done in the past is stop at a rail crossing and center the car up the best you can, slip your jack under the back, put it up, and then try and set it down on the tracks as evenly as you can. The smoother the surface, the better. When they were in California last time, there was lots of gravel and stuff. It was a little less fun, but the earlier 2 times we had nice smooth areas. However, the one time in California for Ken's event, the brake caliper bolts were frozen. So we had quite a debacle trying to get those out, and I definitely didn't want to snap them when they still had to drive home when they were done.
Successful car purchasing is all about knowing your buying power and being able to move quickly, and the best way to do that is getting pre-qualified with Premier Financial Services. Call one of these numbers, speak to one of their representatives, fill out their application, and then you'll know exactly how much car you can buy. You'll approach a seller, tell them you're already qualified, you've got your simple lease set up from Premier Financial, and you'll be able to close very, very quickly. That's why Premier is one of the most powerful partners in the world of exotic car financing, and that's why I turn to them every time I go out and try to buy something crazy.